The Museum of Impossible Art. In the late summer of 1861, a small Kansas town awoke to a mystery. Where the prairie had been empty the day before, a massive black tent now stood, its fabric gleaming like oil in the dawn light. No one had seen it arrive, yet there it was, towering and unnatural, with a wooden sign planted at its entrance. The Museum of Impossible Art, for the curious and the brave. The townsfolk, wary but intrigued, gathered around. The air around the tent felt wrong, heavy like the sky before a storm. Then, from within, a voice called out, "Ladies and gentlemen, do step inside." A man emerged, a tall, slender figure clad in a deep crimson coat and a black bowler hat. His eyes were the color of dying embers, and his smile was too wide, his teeth too sharp. "I am Mr. Bellamy," he said with a sweeping bow, "your humble curator. And tonight, dear friends, I invite you to witness wonders beyond mortal comprehension." Despite the growing unease, curiosity proved stronger. One by one, the townspeople entered. The exhibits inside, the museum stretched far beyond what physics should allow. The ceiling arched into a void of swirling colors, deeper than the night sky. The walls seemed to pulse, as if the museum itself was alive. The first exhibit was a painting of the town itself, but not as it was. The town was in ruins, buildings collapsed, streets littered with skeletal remains. A plaque beneath the frame read, "Tomorrow." Shivers crawled up their spines. Further in, a sculpture of a man stood displayed. It was so lifelike that some swore they could see his chest rising and falling. But his face was twisted in a silent scream, and his eyes were locked onto something unseen above him. The nameplate beneath it read, "A man who has seen the truth." Past that, a simple mirror stood in the center of the next room. But when the visitors gazed into it, their reflections were not their own. Instead, the glass showed an image of a sickly, undead version of themselves. One woman fainted on the spot. The price of admission. As the group moved deeper into the museum, the paintings and sculptures became worse, more real, more disturbing. Some of them showed themselves, frozen in moments that had not yet happened. A young boy saw a painting of himself, drenched in blood, standing alone in the middle of the street. He screamed. "We should go," a man whispered. "Yes," Mr. Bellamy said, grinning wide. "But you can't." The entrance was gone. The paintings had changed. Now they showed the visitors inside the museum, standing exactly as they were now. One man panicked, running toward the tent's walls, trying to tear his way out. The black fabric parted like flesh, revealing a terrible void beyond. Something with teeth, something with eyes, something hungry. Mr. Bellamy chuckled. "You see," he said, adjusting his hat, "every museum requires its exhibits." And with that, the lights went out, and the crowd began to scream. When dawn broke the next morning, the tent was gone. The people of Coldwater were never seen again. But miles away, on the outskirts of another unsuspecting town, a massive black tent stood, gleaming in the rising sun. The sign in front read, "The Museum of Impossible Art for the Curious and the Brave." As the townspeople began to gather, a voice could be heard just beyond the entrance of the tent. "Ladies and gentlemen, do step inside.